Right. What do you wish to say?
Miss Boyd, I can tell, even taking my glasses off, I'm nearsighted. Both of you and I have these little scars right here from our glasses. And I was listening to you earlier. Without my glasses on, I can barely see you. 6 months ago, on August 26th, I reacted to what I felt had been 2 years of a nightmare. I have lived with my parents for 38 years, and they're the best things that have ever happened to me. I couldn't see the forest through the trees because what was happening to me had never happened before in my life. That day, I reacted in a horrible way towards my father because I lost my cool and I lost my power. The last 6 months of my life have been the best 6 months of my life because I've gotten in touch with myself and I've remembered a very important thing that no matter what I'm going through, or no matter what anyone is going through, how I choose to react to it is completely and totally up to me. I cry a lot because it's been a long 6 months. And the last two or three of them, I haven't spoken to my family. Well, last six, I haven't talked to my dad. Last two or three, I haven't talked to my mom. And I've lived with them for the entire 38 years of my life. What happened to me didn't just happen to me, it happened to us. But my parents were never to blame. And I couldn't see that because of, lack of communication, being a 38-year-old and immature in some parts. But I'm glad to be before you today. And when I say that the last 6 months have been the best 6 months of my life, I don't intend or want to be back in jail. But it was time that I needed to listen to myself. It was time I needed to listen to God. It was time I needed to really reflect, not just on, the time in here, but the last 38 years of my life. And I'm happy standing before you and my parents today, knowing that God gave me a reason for existing. And it's to bring happiness to myself, my family, and anyone else that I encounter. And no matter what I'm going through in life, no matter how hard it is, I don't have to not be happy. And I surely don't have to take my unhappiness in a moment out on someone, especially not my dad.
So here's my question. One, it appears that you're not going to be allowed to live with your parents. So why were you, as a 38-year-old, living with them in the first place?
Oh, well, over a decade ago, I'll admit that I was a drug addict, and my parents were enablers. They loved me as much as a parent could love their child, and then some. And so they didn't want to kick me out on the street. They didn't want to, despite me stealing, thieving, and whatnot. That was not the case over the last 2 years. Over the last 2 years, I have done anything and everything I could to get a job. Actually, let me take that back. At the beginning of those 2 years, I was completely sober. In a 2 week span, I had gotten off of all pharmaceutical medications. I decided I no longer wanted to smoke cigarettes, which I had been doing since I was legally allowed to smoke cigarettes, and I no longer wanted to use drugs. And I kept that promise to myself for nearly a year.